Firstly, you need to check the installation area is of strong construction, such as concrete, that it is level and free from dust and debris. Ideally, the centrifuge should be placed in an air-conditioned lab, away from heat sources or sunny windows. Extreme heat over 35 Celsius or extreme humidity may impact performance. Within the production area, there should be a safety zone of 30 centimetres around the centrifuge, where other equipment or chemicals and objects should not be stored. During a centrifugation run, all personnel should remain outside this zone. Before delivery, you should walk the route to the production site to ensure the centrifuge can be delivered. There may be potential doorways that need to be removed or doorways widened. The centrifuge will be shipped on a strong pallet with robust crating. On delivery, the outer box should be inspected, and in the unlikely event there is any damage, this should be noted on the delivery note. Please take photographs of any damage and report it back to your hire dealer who sold the product to you. Removal of the centrifuge from the packaging and safe placement. There are two brackets that attach the centrifuge to the pallet for shipment. These must be removed with a tool. Ensure there is at least a 3-metre path for the safe removal of the centrifuge from the pallet. Within the package, there are 2 heavy-duty ramps to aid the removal of the centrifuge from the pallet. Locate these and attach them to the pallet using the supplied fixings. Ensure the ramps are tightly secured. The 4 levelling feet must now be raised to their maximum height to enable safe removal of the centrifuge. The top locking nut must be loosened and brought down to its lowest position. Now the foot can be fully retracted to the maximum height. Safe removal of the centrifuge will require at least 4 people. However, you should ensure you adhere to local regulations regarding manual handling. People should be placed on the ramp side of the centrifuge to control the descent down the ramp, with a team of people gently pushing the centrifuge to start the removal down the ramp. Once the centrifuge is safely removed from the ramp, the centrifuge is ready to locate in the production site. There should be a safety and ventilation zone of at least 30 centimetres to the rear, the side and the front of the centrifuge. Ensure the feet will be on a stable, flat location, free from debris. Then wind the feet down to ensure the casters spin freely. The centrifuge can now be connected to the power supply. We are now ready to switch on the unit. What we have found is in some cases the electricity supply to the unit will be incorrectly wired. If that is the case, you will hear a strange noise when the compressor switches on. It sounds like this. If you hear that noise, switch off the unit and call a qualified electrician to resolve your electricity supply problem. Once that's resolved, you're then ready to switch on again. Once you are happy with the electricity supply, you are ready to continue the installation process. You open the door with this button on the front. The lid will now open. Now make yourself aware with the key components within the rotor bowl. Inside the rotor bowl we have the PT100 temperature sensor, we have the drainage port, we have the spindle, also known as the drive shaft. Please note the red dot on the top. This should be turned to 12 o'clock. This will help with the later installation of the rotor. Unpack the rotor and buckets and make yourself aware of the design. The rotor is made up of a rotor cross. Note that each position is numbered. There is also a windshield and a lid. The windshield makes the rotor more aerodynamic, reducing friction, heat generation and noise. On the inside of the windshield there are coloured lumps of clay. These are balancing weights and should not be removed. When moving the rotor, it should be carried by the rotor cross. It may be more comfortable for 2 people to carry the rotor, but check with your manual handling regulations locally before lifting. Note where the red dot is located on the central part of the rotor. This needs to be aligned with the red dot and the spindle for superior balancing. Ensure you are positioned correctly when lifting to align the rotor dots. These are the pivot points known as the trunnions. These must be lightly greased with the supply tube of grease. Place a small amount of grease onto your fingertip and create a thin film of grease over the points that will contact the metal bucket. Be careful not to apply too much grease, as this may make the bucket stick. Periodically, you will need to clean these trunnions and wipe off all old grease. This should be done regularly, applying a new film of grease after a certain period of time to maintain good centrifugation. It's now time to load the buckets. These are done sequentially and in order. Please note the number of the bucket on the side of the unit. This is important. You now need to load them sequentially in opposites of each other. Start with bucket number 1 and make sure the number faces outwards. Place it onto the trunnion in the rotor. You will now take the opposite bucket, number 5, and place that on the rotor. We can now move to the next position, which is now number 2 and number 6. Ensure that the buckets can all swing freely. This can be done by gently touching each bucket to make sure that there is free movement. We now need to ensure the rotor and the drive shaft are perfectly level. Take the levelling bubble from the accessories supplied and place it onto the centre of the rotor. Observe the bubble location and its deviation. If the bubble is high on one side, you need to increase the height of the feet in the opposite direction a small amount at a time until the level is centered. Check that none of the casters are touching and they can all spin freely. It is now time to tighten the feet. Using the upper bolt only, increase the height until it touches the chassis of the centrifuge and tighten firmly with a spanner. You are now ready to attach the rotor. Using the securing bolt, attach by hand, then using the rod tool, place it into the hole and tighten firmly. You are now ready to spin. The windshield lid is attached to the centrifuge lid like so. This automatically closes when the centrifuge lid closes too. Now let's take a look at this touchscreen display. Settings can be found under More Operations, and this will give you additional functionality. Door opening, manual or auto at the end of a run. Temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Refrigeration function that allows you to manually switch on and off the compressor. This should be switched to open. Blood station mode, pre-cooling temperature control, calculated sample or air temperature within the rotor chamber, key names, timing mode in count up or count down, alarm interval will allow you to cancel the alarm, but it will repeat after 30, 60 or 50 minutes if still in alarm mode. Full screen delay is the screensaver, and the compressor stop delay ensures that if you forget to switch the unit off after a set amount of time, it will switch off. This is to save you energy. Also in settings A, you will be able to set the time and the date, the language. At the moment we have limited languages, but more will come over the coming months. We have a volume for the alarm and a brightness of the screen. And there is also the energy saving and the screen sleep delay. Also in operations is the account, which allows you to manage new users and admin control. There is networks to connect to networks within your local area, and also a handy leveling tool. In About, you will find the model information, the model name, the serial number, and the versions of the software and firmware. There is a full user manual included. You can scroll and pinch to zoom with this. In others, you will find a QR code that will help you install the mobile phone app, and in Help you have this handy feature which will tell you what all the buttons and symbols are. In some regions, particularly those with uneven or rough delivery roads, we recommend putting the unit through a sequential test. To do this, you start the machine at 1000 RPM and test for vibration. You will then also look to see that the rotor is spinning in the window at the top. If everything is okay, you can then move on to 2000 RPM. Once again, feel for vibration. You do this at 3000 and then again at 4000. If no vibration is felt or no abnormal vibration is felt, the test is passed and you can now move on to test the temperature. At any point, if excessive vibration or noise is felt during the speed tests, stop immediately and contact your local authorised service agent or hire biomedical directly. Next, we need to check the refrigeration system. The centrifuge should be displaying the ambient temperature of the room. Firstly, select the temperature button and then input 4 Celsius and save. Next, you should press the snowflake button for the Eco Fast Blast Pre-Cool. This will gently start an acceleration to mix the air and improve the temperature and pull down time. After around 15 minutes, the temperature should have reached 4 Celsius and the refrigeration system we know is working as it should. If at any point the refrigeration system does not get down to temperature, you will need to call your local service agent or contact Higher Biomedical directly. Once the unit is at 4 Celsius, you can stop the procedure. Next, we want to check the temperature to 22 Celsius. Once again, press the temperature, enter 22, and then press the EcoFast pre-cool button once again. This will now ensure the refrigeration system is working in both directions. Next, we'll perform an imbalance test. To do this, take your blood bag adapters and place them into opposite buckets. Then take some sample blood bags with a weight difference of at least 50 grams and place them in opposite buckets. Then select speed, inputting 1000 RPM, close the lid, and press the start button. The unit shall now accelerate and we shall get an imbalance if everything is working as it should. The machine is now in an imbalance alarm and will now automatically shut down. The machine has passed the test. All buckets must be in place to run the centrifuge safely. An arrangement like this is strictly prohibited. Please ensure that every position has the correct bucket and has a bucket positioned like so. Next, you must also ensure that adapters and the contents of these are always placed in opposite buckets, ideally as symmetrically as possible, like so. Loading a rotor like this is imbalanced and once again is strictly prohibited. Please do not run or attempt to run the machine in this imbalanced condition. Always balance the rotor perfectly and symmetrically. Also moving on to other preventative maintenance and other features of the unit. On the right hand side by the power switch are 2 USBs. These are bi-directional for downloading your run information and also uploading software for the centrifuge as and when it becomes available in the future. The lid latches should be cleaned regularly to prevent wear and excess dirt building up on these. This ensures the safe and smooth operation. Once again, a small amount of grease should be placed on the finger and a thin film should be placed onto the lid latch. Do not put too much grease, as this may attract dirt and dust and interfere with the lid latch mechanism. During a power failure, you may still want to gain access to the samples or your blood bags. To do this, it is imperative that you ensure that the rotor has fully stopped. This can take 30 minutes or more. Look in the observation window and check that the rotor has come to a complete stop. If it is still moving, do not attempt to open the lid. If you are assured that it is stopped, you can then move to the left-hand side of the unit and begin the procedure for opening the lid manually. Before attempting to open the lid latch manually, ensure that the unit is off. On the left-hand side of the centrifuge, you will find this warning sticker. Once again, making sure that you are aware the centrifuge must be stopped and powered off. Next, you should take the tool that is provided in the accessories and push it through until it engages with the torque wrench inside, and then slowly turn and the lid will start to open manually. Once the lid has released, you will be able to manually open the lid and gain access to your samples inside. Thank you for listening to this presentation on the higher biomedical processing centrifuges. I'm sure you will have many years of great use from this machine. Thank you for listening and enjoy your higher biomedical centrifuge. Power to your processing.